Was that the best win of the season for the Rockies?
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 8th day of June in the year 2022. I'm Paul Holden, your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Rockies podcast, proudly part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Today on Locked On Rockies, we are diving into arguably the best win of the season for the Colorado Rockies, a 5-3 victory over the San Francisco Giants. You might be sitting there saying, is it that important to get a 5-3 win over the San Francisco Giants in the middle or in the early parts of June? Yes. Yes, it is. But we'll be talking about that and more, another milestone. I got some weird gunk on my hat here I've discovered, but I'm just going to flip that around so it's not distracting for me or you. But in the meantime, today's episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. Blue Nile is the place for your moment to sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On listeners get a $50 purchase of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. Use code Locked On at checkout. Boy, it started off great. Connor Joe hits the leadoff home run, gets the Rockies on the board first. It's the momentum. It's driving. And then the bottom of the inning happens. German Marquez, the issues continue. The long ball continues to bite German Marquez, but the Rockies are able to shrug it off. And that's key. Listen, I don't want German Marquez giving up home runs. I don't want German Marquez giving up 3 runs at all. However, if he gives up 3 runs in San Francisco and then bounces back to finish up with the line that he had, which was 6 innings pitched, he had the 7 strikeouts in the game last night. The long ball doing the damage, 4 walks as well. Far from perfect, far from exactly what we need from German Marquez. However, the adjustments made in the game, keeping the Rockies in the game, limiting the damage there, getting the strikeouts when he needed the strikeouts, that is critical. It is huge for the Rockies, and it's exactly what they needed to get back into this game. To keep them in this game, honestly, it wasn't. They started off in there, but after that first inning, for him to come back and cruise a little bit and keep the walks down, keep the strikeouts up, that's massive. German Marquez is going to have tons of success when he keeps the ball away from bats. He strikes batters out, and in the zone, though, the walks are still too much. 4 walks is a ton of walks in a game, especially for a team that can do a ton of damage to you in San Francisco. But the damage only done in the first. Good, clean defense. Not only clean defense, but great defense from the Colorado Rockies. Brendan Rodgers making an incredible play there at second base, continuing to just grow and develop into a player that you should really be excited about for Rockies fans. And I mean, man, it all seemed bad for the Rockies in the way it was going yesterday, especially with the way the bottom of the first was going. Throwing the ball, singles, not getting out of trouble, sack flies, the ball getting caught up in the air, and it's just kind of was a nightmare for the Rockies, who did get dinked and dunked a little bit, but they survive, they last, and then the bullpen comes in and shuts the door. I mean, Finally, a complete game of baseball from the Colorado Rockies, and to do it against someone you've struggled mightily against, man, it's a good sign. And hey, Eloise Montero up here contributing for the Rockies as well, getting not doing necessarily a lot on offense, but he's up here on the board and contributing at the major league level, at least playing, making some nice plays on defense. it just feels so refreshing to talk about a good Rockies win. I'm watching the highlights right now because after the first inning, after the way it was going for Herman, almost he's at near over 30 pitches in the first inning alone. However, he sticks with it, goes on. He goes on to, I believe, have a season high of 105 pitches, 6 innings after giving up the runs in that first inning, comes in for a good start. I mean, that's the type of start, hopefully, to get Merman back. We had plenty to improve on, plenty to look at, but kept the Rockies in the game and didn't let the game get out of hand. We've seen so much from Herman this year where the game can get out of hand, where a lot of traffic, even though he gets out of some innings, he might be leaving the inning, but he's leaving a bunch of runners on and the bullpen's not coming in ideal opportunities. But instead, the Rockies are able to get their ace to come out and do some just pick himself back up. And I hope that this is a start for German Marquez to remind himself that even though he might get himself in some trouble, he can bounce back. He can come back and do and still finish strong for the Rockies, still keep his team in the ball game, and to go out and bounce back for that and to go into the career high in pitches. That's a good sign. It's far from perfect. It's far from fixed, but it's a breath of fresh air from the Rockies. You saw this team do something that they haven't done. What they haven't done in a while, honestly, was felt like they compete, which felt like they were really in it, and they felt like they were in the game until the end. They had multiple opportunities to come back. This third inning, I'm watching the highlights of now. Good situational baseball. The Rockies getting productive outs. Connor Joe continues to contribute out of his mind. He is so incredibly important to this team and his abilities. It's insane what he can do with the Rockies getting on the board. Yes, they don't tie it up in the sixth, but they get that just another instance where they're stringing together opportunities. They've had multiple chances in games, and then it all comes together in the sixth here again for the Rockies when they're able to get things going and get things moving for the club, where they're going to plate 3 runs. But man, that's a Rockies win. That's how the blueprint is. That is how the game last night is how the Rockies' path to success looks like. That's how the Rockies win games, and especially to do it against a close division opponent. That's always great too. Wins against the Giants over the past few years have been so few and far between, especially in San Francisco. And then the big moment comes in the sixth. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, because there's someone still contributing to this Rockies team, further cementing his legacy in Rockies lore. But we'll talk about that in a second, because I first got to help you cement your place in the lore of your relationship or of whatever you got to do to a special moment that can be celebrated with the right piece of jewelry. At BlueNile.com, you can celebrate all of life's special moments, from creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams to gifting a classic and timeless jewelry piece, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. There are 2 parts to the business. It's the wedding jewelry, and then there's the everyday fine jewelry. When you go into the wedding jewelry, there's so many questions, and you've probably where do you start? What's the band? You probably even need help with the measurements and everything like that. The great folks at Blue Nile have staff that are available on the phone or via web chat 24/7. And if you're not in the engagement, if you're not looking for engagement or wedding type rings, well, guess what? You can still get a great piece of fine jewelry at Blue Nile to celebrate any occasion. And if you're looking for fine jewelry, like I said, the great folks at Blue Nile have great work staff available to help you 24/7 online and via the phone. And you can make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Rockies listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. Use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Folks, it is so awesome to continue to watch Charlie Blackmon contribute for this team. I really think he is starting to understand and value his role as an offensive threat for the Colorado Rockies. On the anniversary of his debut in Major League Baseball, he's been on the Rockies for since 2011. 2011. And what does he do last night? He hits his 200th home run and an absolutely massive situation for the Rockies. 2 runners on, top of the 6, 1-2 count, takes it with the 2 strikes on him. And not only does he blast it, he puts it into the cove. Charlie Blackmon will have his number retired. Charlie Blackmon is Mr. Rocky. Charlie Blackmon is a delight to watch. No one will wear the number 19 in Colorado Rockies history again. He really has been a player that contributes. And we haven't heard from, that I haven't heard at least, but him really embracing this role of being an offense contributor for this club is massive. 2 hits, a hit yesterday, 2 hits in the game, his last game against the Braves. He's really been a decent bat for the Rockies. Again, he can be better. We know he can do it, but he's contributing in the right ways, and he's definitely been showing of late that he's getting better. His line right now, 246 average, 310, 431, 741. That's the full batting line. But hey, 29 RBIs, 1 home run shy of 10, and it's a milestone home run in an absolutely crucial situation for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon is someone that had a lot of questions about him. I think a lot of people still continue to have questions for Charlie Blackmon. A lot of people thinking that they might get traded, something like that. I just don't think that will ever be the case because the Rockies value so much what Charlie Blackmon can bring to your lineup. He can lead it off. He can hit in the middle. He can hit kind of all over the place. And, his defense is not great. Made some nice plays in right field yesterday. Still showing that he can run a little bit. But Charlie Blackmon and what he brings to your roster, what he brings to your lineup is great, is excellent. And he's someone that I think is instrumental for young Rockies players. I think he's the exact type of person you want to have in your clubhouse as the Rockies to kind of help navigate not only getting into the major league level, but getting into the major league level with the Colorado Rockies. As there's so many, every team has their own quirks. Every team has their same topic that they bring up, just like Rockies fans have to deal with Coors Field. But it's navigating Coors Field. It's navigating being a professional Rocky. It's navigating the world of professional baseball. And with the Rockies having some new faces, with the Rockies having potential young guys coming up in the system, Charlie Blackmon is the exact type of guy that you want to be there leading those players and giving them the opportunities while also still coming up and showing that he can contribute. I'd like to see that batting average go up a little bit more. However, we'll take Charlie Blackmon going 1 for 3 in games with an RBI. That's exactly what you're looking for from Charlie Blackmon. It's the 310 OBP is pretty good. It can be better, but 29 RBIs, 9 home runs, sitting at 7 doubles right now too with the Rockies. I like it. I like that it can be better. I know that it can be better, but you got to appreciate Charlie Blackmon. You got to appreciate what he brings to the club. And you got to appreciate the fact that it came in a massive situation. That's the big clutch hit. The Rockies finally get clutch enough. The Charlie Blackmon home run obviously is the best example. It's the biggest and the best. It's exactly what you want. It's what you're hoping for. It's going to drive everyone in. But even the CJ Cron sac fly after the steal, after getting there, after just moving good, consistent baseball, that's it. That's how you draw it up. I mean, and it shows. It shows how important it is for the Rockies to be consistent, to be to play good, clean ball. And then on top of it all, the bullpen having a nice strong day yesterday. That's how you got to line it up. That's the path to success. That's what your bullpen in the middle relief needs to do. That game was close. That game That game was very, very close for the entire time, but the bullpen's able to come in and go after them, and especially seeing Daniel Bard come out and shut the door and strike out the side. I think, he struck out the side, if I recall correctly. Let me double check my my notes here. Two strikeouts for Daniel Bard. He didn't strike out the side, but two strikeouts for Daniel Bard. Alex, Colomé came out there with the strikeout, no hits on no runs. Kinley giving up the one hit with still a strikeout. A nice dominant performance from the bullpen. Only the one hit, no walks, the crucial part there. No free passes from the bullpen late in the game. That's how you're going to keep a team like the Giants. That's what you got to do. No free passes. There's two teams that we're going to talk about this over and over again. You can't do it to any team, but you cannot afford to give the Giants and the Dodgers any free opportunities as the Colorado Rockies. And that's how you win in San Francisco. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to out-hit the Giants. You're going to have to grind through at bats. You're going to have to go after and get pitchers. And what's nice about yesterday too is the fact that the Rockies are coming back in a situation against someone that set them down. The Rockies got 12 strikeouts for the Rockies against Rodon last time. Rodon gets the 5 strikeouts, but he only goes the 4 innings. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. That's a much better line from the Rockies fans' perspective when you're looking at it than when the last time Rodon played the Rockies, and that's in San Francisco. It shows you that baseball can be a little weird sometimes. It's a different game. It's a different day for the Rockies, and hopefully now 2 back-to-back wins against the Giants. When was the last time we got to say back-to-back wins against the Giants? The Rockies are in a position to win the series in San Francisco tonight. If they go in, play another good game, they can feel pretty good about the day cap on Wednesday, have a nice little momentum build up to going into your first matchup against the Padres in San Diego this year. You can't get too far ahead of yourself, but the steps in the right direction are made. The adjustments made by Marquez in that game, the bullpen shutting it down, the hitting coming up clutch in the situations it needed to. They were still bad. There was some base running blunders that cost the Rockies a run. There was some, still some issues in terms of, like I said, walks from Marquez, all sorts of stuff. But the Rockies battled through the adversity of the game last night, and that's what you have to do. That's how you get back to winning baseball. That's how you're going to build momentum and get yourself back into a position to compete for this that wild card spot, or just make ground in the division. Don't even want to have the wild card necessarily too much in the thought process now. The goal is to get back to 500 and above 500 so you can put yourself in an even better situation. And how do you do that? The best way to do that is winning division games. Every division win is huge for the Rockies in terms of the future of the team in this season and, of course, going forward. Let's take a look at the matchup tonight. Break things down. We'll take your questions as well. If you have live questions that you want answered, drop them in the live chat. I know we got lots of viewers here tuning in today, so make sure that you check us out and drop your questions. I'd be happy to answer them. But before we do that, I got to tell you about Athletic Greens. Our product, this next product is something I use every single day. All it is, it's just 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, or superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens in one scoop and in a cup of water. Shake that up, and it's just a simple, tasty drink to get your day started in the best way possible. It is, like I said, you're dumping into your body 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Not only is your day going to start off right, but it's going to help your gut, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, and aging. All the things. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It also supports better sleep quality and recovery. It supports mental clarity and alertness. It's one of the best things about Athletic Greens. It uses the best of the best products based on the latest science with constant product iterations and third-party testing. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We're also brought to you today by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's NBA Finals, the NHL Hockey Conference Finals. Well, you can't bet on the Avs in the Conference Finals anymore because the Avs are waiting for you to bet on them in the Stanley Cup Finals, Major League Baseball, and, of course, all the latest fighting news from MMA and UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action at BetOnline. That's BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, tonight for the Colorado Rockies, another matchup against the Giants. 6:45 Pacific time start, 7:45 start for you there in Mountain Time. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. Alex Wood is taking on Antonio Senzatela. Senzatela is going to need a really, really, really good start. I mean, he is kind of the pitcher you worry about the most, or at least I worry about the most, going to San Francisco and playing against the Giants, is that they can get they can put the ball in play. The Giants will hit. The Giants are very good at hitting. The Giants are very good at finding gaps. The Giants are very good at finding spots where they can put the ball over the wall, especially. Those are two of the strengths of the Giants. But the big news going in right now, Brendan Crawford out with an injury. Let's see. I'm trying to see here what if they let's see, Crawford. Brendan. Wow, I'm just Crawford. I want to see what they got in terms of news on him. He left the game yesterday, removed it with right quadricep tightness, and he's currently listed as day-to-day on ESPN. So someone who has been notoriously good against the Rockies, not in the line. I'm gonna, I don't know, most likely say that he's not going to play tonight. That's something big for the Rockies as well. But he's day-to-day, hasn't been put anywhere in terms of an IL stint or anything like that. But that is at least one thing to watch for the game tonight. But what the big thing to keep your eye on tonight is how this Rockies team, how Senzatela is going to handle going up against this Giants team. Senzatela 2-3, 5.4 ERA, WHIP of 1.97, 14 strikeouts. 8 walks, 3 home runs given up this year. Alex Woods, he's sitting out there, hasn't been necessarily dominant this year. 3-5, 4.6 ERA, WHIP 1.43, 54 hits over 48 innings, 50 strikeouts, however, over 48 innings, averaging more than a strikeout per inning pitched. Walks 15 on the year. So if the Rockies get that good plate discipline, get to take advantage of some free extra bases, that would be crucial for them, giving up 5 home runs on the year as well. Let's see. They also will not be seeing no Brendan Belt, Brendan Crawford is on the injury report, but still listed as day-to-day. Luis Matos is also on the day-to-day IL as well. So some couple of things to keep in mind for the matchup tonight. But hey, a pitcher that hasn't been as good, the Rockies can get to take advantage and get some runs in, drive some runs in, and let's win this thing. Let's win a series and take on the Giants. Let's go after it. Eric Harper says, Paul, is there a specific player in the majors you would have as a trade target for the Rockies? That's a good question. That is a good question. It's just who are the Rockies trade that's going to get someone back? let's see. It's just like I just don't know who you're going to go after or who you can give up. But I would like, if I don't have a player in mind, I guess, here for you. But what I will say is a bullpen beef up piece would be great. A great target for the Rockies. How you get there, I'm not necessarily sure. Folks, that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you all so much for tuning in and making us your first listen of the day. You can check out that Locked On podcast survey at lockedonsports.com/survey. You can also support us on YouTube, drop into the live chat, just like Eric Harper was hanging out today. And we're streaming on all your favorite streaming services. All you got to do is search Groovy Soup, and you'll be not Groovy Soup. That's another show I host. That was me going into autopilot there. You got to search Locked On Rockies, and we will be there free and streaming for you. In the meantime, don't miss out on all the great Colorado sports coverage with the Locked On Rockies, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Broncos, and Locked On Nuggets coverage. And Rockies, Giants tonight, 6:45 Pacific, 7:45 Mountain Time start. Antonio Senzatella taking on Alex Wood. Folks, until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.